And good morning. We're in fact joined by Shiv Vishwanathan, noted sociologist, and Hartosh Singh Bal, senior journalist, also joining us. And editor-at-large Rahul Kanwal now joins us. Rahul, in fact, today we're going big with the Congress's AICC session. A lot of speculation about the future of the party, and definitely the bigger question is about Rahul Gandhi and where he takes the party.
Oh, absolutely. We're here live at the Talkatore Stadium this morning. The AICC session behind us, about to start in some time. Several leaders have already come. I've got a young representative from the Congress party with me. Are you disappointed, Agni, with the fact that Rahul hasn't bitten the bullet entirely and has chosen not to get announced as the party's prime ministerial face? As a young Congress worker, is that disappointing for you?
I would not really agree with the terminologies that you're using and the words that you have picked up, chosen to express what has happened. I would rather say that in the coalition dharma, I think it would be unfair to announce the prime ministerial candidate.
But this is what Congress wanted. This is what a majority of the young Congress workers especially wanted.
Yeah,
and now he's run away from battle.
I don't see him running away. He has taken the charge of the election polls, and he has taken up the responsibility of running the campaign. And in the Congress party, I think everybody knows who the leader is. So why the discussion?
So if you know who the leader is, and if you know who your prime minister is, why shy away from announcing?
I'm telling you why. There are certain ground rules and norms of coalition politics. Obviously, the Congress party, you can see how charged up, how geared up the people, the party workers and activists and the leaders are. We are looking forward to hear what Mr. Gandhi has to say on this, and I'm sure he is leading the party. He has driven the party towards social welfare schemes like Manrega, towards Right to Information Act. He's also talking about doing away with corruption through a structured framework. So there's a particular positive, constructive politics he's aiming at. The party, the young party workers like me are supporting him. He's leading us. I don't see the dilemma.
Stay with me for a moment. Karthike, take our viewers through a full sense of what all they can expect at this big meeting today. A lot of the fizz from the meeting taken away by the fact that Rahul won't be announced as the prime ministerial candidate. But give our viewers a sense of what else will happen.
Rahul, primarily there will be a build-up for Rahul Gandhi as a face and the soul of the Congress campaign, because now they have actually stopped short of using the word prime ministerial candidate. So now you'll require a parallel build-up for Rahul Gandhi, saying that he will be the face of the party, the elections will be fought under his leadership, and Rahul will be our supreme leader. So you'll see a lot of chorus, you'll see the galleries around the AICC members, they'll buzz with that response.
But do these people sitting over here actually believe that Rahul can be a trump card, that he can now at this late stage turn the election around, or are they in their heads reconciled to the idea that this election is lost?
I think there is a feeling in the Congress party that this is going to be the toughest battle won. There is also a feeling in the Congress party that numbers might dwindle to 2-digit. And a lot of senior ministers, members of parliament express that in their private conversations. But I think there is also a disappointment in a lot of AICC members that parties suddenly got burdened by tradition. I don't agree that it's because of coalition dharma. Parties choose their candidates on the basis of the enthusiasm a person can build in workers. That's the bottom line. That's why Modi is the prime ministerial candidate, despite Advani's objection or despite many other leaders' objection. So ultimately, if Rahul Gandhi is the glue which unites top with the bottom, then why did they hesitate?
And the tradition argument doesn't hold, because we saw in Punjab Amrinder Singh being announced by Rahul Gandhi as the chief ministerial candidate when he wasn't in power, when there wasn't a tradition. So this tradition is very convenient. When it suits you, you apply it. When it doesn't suit you, you choose not to apply it.
I wouldn't agree to that. See, to every rule there are certain exceptions, and that might have followed in states or in certain cases. But essentially, as I have been saying, we know who the leader is. We know the capacity and the competence of Rahul Gandhi, and I think he has a...
Do you think Rahul excites the Congress as much as Modi excites BJP?
More than that, and I wouldn't even compare. The way Modi has been chosen to lead the party also has, a certain, it also gives an insight to the internal democracy of the party. We know who's ruling. Has he actually been the one leader in the BJP, or the RSS has dominated over everything? You have seen that the party was almost, there was a lot of internal conflict because Modi was named, and you yourself named Advani. So there have been larger implications of Modi being the prime ministerial candidate of BJP as well. But you see, unanimously, the Congress people, worker, activists, leaders, office bearers want Rahul Gandhi to lead the party. He's doing that, and I'm very sure that we're going to form UPA 3.
Okay, stay with me. One of the few books on Rahul Gandhi has been written by one of my colleagues at India Today, Jatin Gandhi, who's live with us at the AICC. My question this morning is, does Rahul excite the Congress in the same way as Modi excites the BJP?
See, if you confine this question to the Congress itself, yes, he does. But the problem that Rahul Gandhi faces in this election is he doesn't need to excite the Congress. He needs to excite people outside the Congress, people who will eventually go and press the button on the voting machines. So this is something that the Congress, the mood right now is clearly anti-dynasty.
So you've been tracking the Rahul story very, very closely. Do you think after the 8th of December, is he changing for real, or is this just semantics and just for the camera?
I think what he's realized is that with less than 100 days to go for the elections, he has to, if all these ideas that he's trying to profess for the last 10 years, if they are not put into practice within the next 100 days, if he does not give clear signals, if he doesn't say that he's consistent or he's committed to leading the party, then he will not even have a cadre which will be able to go and spread the message of the Congress.
But this is a question that will be asked. Why is it that Rahul has woken up after the 8th of December? For the last several years, he's been saying things. Kejriwal went out and did them. Then suddenly he gets an electricity shock and wakes up.
What did Kejriwal do?
One formed a government in Delhi, upturned Indian politics and showed a new way.
I will tell you, I mean, that is your interpretation, and I will say every interpretation seems to be a misinterpretation many a times. You see, Arvind Kejriwal has been successful in building a perception that he is going to create a perfect state of affairs in Delhi. And during the last 15 days, we've seen how they have been in a self-destructive mode, and how we can see all those big promises collapsing to a very large extent. So in a way, I mean, to glorify a person before he has actually delivered, I think would not be correct. So it is more important to be correct than critical, first of all.
Okay.
Secondly, I would like to say that you're talking about the grand old party of India. You might say that we are facing certain challenges, and this might be one of the biggest challenges that we are facing, because the third front is also emerging, which seems to be very strong right now. But the Congress party, as Mr. Sunil Khilnani himself said, who is an eminent author and historian, has an internal resilience.
Okay.
And we have seen many times during 77, so on and so forth, that the Congress party has always risen back like the phoenix. So
You're already assuming that it's going to crash like the phoenix, and then you're hoping that it will rise from there.
I'm replying to your
Sure, fair enough.
I'm replying to your
Also joining us at this time is the youngest member of parliament in this current Lok Sabha, Ramya. She's just pulled off a huge, massive win and is now joining us as the youngest Congress MP over here. Are you disappointed with Rahul, who you work with very closely, deciding not to be anointed as the prime ministerial face of your party, ma'am?
Well, I think it's
Tell us the truth. You're not a practiced politician yet, so you must tell us your honest answers to all these.
I honestly believe it's about the right time, and I don't think right now is the time for him to be announced.
Why not?
Because it's the practice of the Congress. I don't think
it's not. Rahul Gandhi announced Amrinder Singh as the Congress's chief ministerial candidate in Punjab. So it's not necessarily the practice in totality. The practice has been changed whenever required by the party.
Well, that was a chief ministerial candidate, and now we're talking about the prime ministerial candidate. And prime ministerial candidate, I don't think they have done it before, with the exception of Dr. Manmohan Singh. So I think let's just wait till the Lok Sabha elections are over, and then.
But don't you think the results of most of the assembly elections in the last several years show that battles in India are getting more and more presidential in nature? That it's a battle between two candidates or two ideas, and people want to know, okay, there's Modi on the one side, there's Kejriwal, who's representing the Congress as its prime ministerial face. Shouldn't that question have been answered in totality instead of being answered partially?
Well, I think everybody knows. I mean, we'd all like Rahul Gandhi to be the next prime minister if we come into power. But I guess the party will have to make a decision on that. So
no, but as a young MP, would it not have been better from your perspective?
Yes, I would have liked it if they had announced much beforehand, because like you said, people want to know who's representing the Congress. But if the Congress working committee feels otherwise, it's, I guess.
Because the BJP says Rahul Gandhi is running away from the challenge. He's running away from fighting Modi.
I don't think so. I think he's been fighting back, and I think he's doing it the right way. It's just that most people don't get Rahul Gandhi. He's most misunderstood is what I feel.
Why do you say that? I know that you work very closely with him. You're saying he's misunderstood, people don't get him. In what way do people not get him?
Because I think his vision is long term, and people today are really frustrated and they want instant solutions, and instant solutions don't really work in the long run. For example, with what AAP is doing, and for example, what even the BJP is claiming. I think with Rahul Gandhi, his vision is more long term, and I think most of the
But
time.
politics is about here and now. How can you have a 30-year solution to a problem that confronts me today? That's one of the differences between Kejriwal and Rahul. They're saying the same things, but Kejriwal is getting them done when Rahul says that I have a 25...
Back on them, and he's promised things that are really not deliverable. So I don't know why. How an instant solution for the time being is important. You need to give.
Because now suddenly after the 8th of December, Rahul seems to have woken out of slumber and has got very active, which wasn't the case before the 8th of December.
Well, at least he's doing it now. If he wasn't doing it before.
No, but why not do it earlier in the first instance?
Well, I really don't know what to say to that, but I think it's also about.
You're a
what
Congress
you do
MP now. You need to have a better counter to that.
No, I think it's what you do now is most important as well.
No, but people will judge somebody's political career, and they will raise questions on why was this man not as active as he is before getting thrashed in 4 states.
Well, let's just say that he did do a lot. It's just that you people never covered it.
No, maybe he didn't give people an opportunity to cover it. Now, when he gives people an opportunity to cover it, it is being covered and more.
Oh yeah, I don't know. We can debate about this, but I think Rahul is. You just feel that he's been active now because he's more in the news because you people are covering it.
No, because he's now doing things to be in the news. Earlier, whether it's staying in India, going abroad, we don't know. He wasn't as active as he is now, and that is the reality.
We don't know.
We don't know. So that's the reality. Now, as a political worker, he needs to be more active than he was, and that's something he's realized after being beaten.
Active, especially I think after he was made the vice president. I think he has been very active. He's been doing a lot of work, but I think he's not the kind of person who wants the media to know what he's doing just to tell you that he's doing something.
So do you think this is the only way he's misunderstood his long-term vision, or are there other ways in which he's misunderstood as well by?
Even what he says, I think you always take his speeches out of context, and
In what way?
So many ways. I mean, there are so many instances, and I think what he says, he speaks really well. But then you take one statement out of his speech and then make an issue out of it, and people are always mocking him, which is like really sad.
But doesn't that concern you that your prime ministerial face, your main weapon for 2014, is being made fun of by people?
Of course, it does. I mean, and I think most of the time he's misunderstood. And how do you explain to people? It's okay because I know what he is, and I know what his vision is, and I know that he's a very good person with clean intentions. And I think that's what matters. I think people today just think a good orator is a good leader, and I don't think that's true.
Okay, Jyoti and Anu are prodding me at the back to let you go, so I'm going to let you go. Ramya, thank you very much for joining us this morning.